Hello, my name is Hermann Kelly. I'd like today to talk about the vital importance of truth in the news and explain why I have never, ever paid an RTE license fee. Article number 1, RTE are basically not exactly lying completely, but misleading the general public. Why? Because they have an article online which says that 12% of people living in Ireland are non-Irish citizens. However, that excludes completely the 8% of people who didn't put in any citizen status on the census figure. And onwards in the CSO report itself, it boldly states that 20% of people currently living in Ireland were born outside the state. Now, given people born outside the state and etc., there's over 1 million people living in Ireland in a population of 5.1 million people in Ireland South. There's over 1 million people who are non-Irish. That's a hell of a lot, and it's a huge difference from 12%, isn't it? 20%, and then that's all that we know of legally. How many people are here illegally and don't declare anything on a census form, never fill in a census form? We don't know. So you would think that the RT would like to state clearly and give the general public a clear idea of how many people, how many Irish people, non-Irish people, dual citizens, etc., are in the state. They have let the general public down very badly by this misleading news report. It is taken up and answered very clearly by Dr. Matt Tracy in a Gript article, which you can find online. Second article I would like to refer to is one in mid-September by Tony Connolly of RT. Its title is Government Resisting EU Grab of Corporate Sector Profits. It was on the 15th of September. It basically says that our current contribution to the EU is 2.6 billion. Now, the article itself extensively quotes the Department of Finance, which talks about the harmful impact of this EU measure would have on the Irish finances. As he extensively quotes the Department of Finance, he refuses or he omits to quote the statistics of the Department of Finance, which make clear in 2001 that our net contribution to the EU was 1.1 billion euro. So I wrote to complain about this to RTE and got a response from Brian Dowling, who's head of complaints in RTE. I will put it online, my email and the response. I'll put it on the Irish Freedom Party website so everybody can read it, everybody can check the links. But basically, it's not the first time that I've had to write about articles by Tony Connolly. I believe they underestimate, they under-egg Ireland's contribution to the EU. They use figures from the EU Court of Auditors, which don't take into consideration the VAT and customs receipts that Ireland collects and pays to the EU using Irish money. So the bottom line is that our contribution to the EU, our net contribution to the EU in 2021 was 1.1 billion euro. It's a bit silly at this stage because other journalists in RT have actually started to use the Department of Finance figures, and they clearly state that our contribution was over €1 billion to the EU budget. And they also state that we are a net contributor to the EU budget since 2013. Now, it was only last year or so, Tony Connolly had an article up with the headline that Ireland's a net contributor for the last 3 years, which isn't true at all. So, but it brings us back to the fact that the Irish public are being misled by both of these RTE articles. They're both very important. I believe that it is my opinion that they display or portray the bias that RTE editors have in matters of discussing the matter of immigration, its impact on Ireland to do with our finances, to do with security, especially its relation to housing, access to housing and the issue of homelessness in Ireland. And of course the EU budget, their great God, where it used to be the Vatican that they used to look up to in 1950s Ireland. Now, in the 21st century, it's Brussels is the new Vatican of Europe. And never to be questioned, we have received 40 billion euro cash from the EU. But on top of that, they've imposed 64 billion bank debt. They've also helped Prague our 20 billion euro pension fund. And EU boats have plundered 215 billion worth of fish out of Irish waters since we joined the EU. So in net terms, we're a huge loser when it comes to EU membership. And anyway, we sell 32% of our goods to the US, and we sell only 38% of our goods to the EU. So for 6% of our trade and exports, why do we need to be in a political union? Why do we have to? We don't have open borders with the USA. We don't have a political union with the USA where they make laws and impose them upon us and there's nothing we can do. So for 6% of our trade, I don't believe it's a good deal to be in this political union. And anyway, as a net contributor to the EU since 2013, I don't think we can afford the EU anymore. It costs us a lot of money. And why are we paying old men we don't elect to make laws we don't need? I don't see the purpose. So my name is Hermann Kelly. I'm president of the Irish Freedom Party. I'd ask you to donate to the party. I'd ask you to join the party. I'd ask you to come out and support us. We're coming up to European and local elections now in June 2024. And I ask you to come out, make yourself known to us and come out and help us campaign because we mean to shake up the Irish establishment. We're not going to be able to do that when the national broadcaster, the state-owned broadcaster, is lying to the public. So we have to overcome that through social media and meeting people on the streets. So I'd ask for your help in that. Gora Margaret, Slán Hispanic.